First leg, Simon to throw first. Game on.
All I can say is that we will have a new winner on the Euro Tour for 2018. Rob Malarkey joins me in commentary for the opening semi-final. It's the Wizard and Noppert.
Yeah, wherever you turn, there's a potential big story here this weekend
60.
in Riesa. I think as far as Danny Noppert is concerned, if he wants to give himself the best possible chance of getting through to the final at the expense of Whitlock, he'll have to raise his game a little bit, because only once this weekend has he averaged more than 90, and that was in the 6-2 win over Jermaine Watimena. Even in the 6-0 win over Robert Thornton, it was an average of 88, and averages also under 90 against Suljevic and also against Webster. A tournament's average of 89.59. Whitlock's isn't that much better, but it is better, and it's significant perhaps that he has come through, I think, some really tough assignments of his own already. James Wilson was a really awkward opponent for him in the second round, 6-5. A battle against James Richardson earlier today,
54.
and Steve Beaton as well. Could have been all sorts of problems for him there. But that was when he produced his highest average of the weekend so far, 102.41. Whitlock, the favourite to win this match, no surprise to hear that. But Noppert will, I think, make life difficult for him.
97.
Well, he's not played Danny Noppert before, and of course it's the same for Danny Noppert, but darts players, they tend sometimes to get a bit edgy when they're up against somebody they've not faced before. It shouldn't matter in theory, shouldn't matter what their opponent does on the board, but sometimes it can just be a little bit unnerving. You're not going to see a great deal of antics on stage from Danny Noppert or anything.
77.
He's not going to be running around or celebrating or doing anything like that to get under Whitlock's skin.
We assume.
Wait, maybe, yeah, maybe
may-
just
he
put it
may-
out of the bag out of nowhere.
Go all Dyson Parodi on us for 20 minutes or so.
But he's given himself a chance to break the Whitlock throw in this opening leg. It's a great dart. Oh,
77. So I'm your
two missed.
104.
Well, he was going the 16s route. And he has not helped himself.
48. Danny required 20.
Well, that was one of the stories of Noppert's progression today. The missed opportunities against Darren Webster before he took them, and he's missed opportunities again here as well. He
Simon, you require 56.
he won that match with his 7th match dart. And he can't afford to be so charitable against Simon Whitlock, because Whitlock will punish you. And it's a 20-dart hold of throw for the Wizard.
Well, when we saw Danny Noppert make the semi-finals in Sindelfingen earlier this year, he did that the hard way as well. Look at the names he beat.
140.
Started off beating the world master Christoph Ratajski, then took out Gerwyn Price. Then it was Peter Wright. Then it was Joe Cullen. I mean, that is an incredible list of names to beat back to back to back. And he did it with averages of 99, 97, 95 and 91. It was good. In fact, pretty much all of those averages were better than the ones he's been throwing in his games this weekend. We've not seen Danny Noppert
60.
play especially brilliantly, but he's just done enough, and his finishing has been 40% for the weekend. It's been all right. It's been enough so far from Danny Noppert. In the end, he was beaten by James Wade in that semi-final in Sindelfingen. But we're going to be seeing him at the World Grand Prix. We'll be seeing him at the European Championship, and that is great going for a guy who's not even through his first year in PDC darts.
One other observation about his finishing, though, it has got progressively worse as the weekend has worn on. 6 from 12 against Thornton, 6 from 13 against Watimena, 6 from 17 against Suljevic, and 6 from 18 against Webster. Now, if he carries on in that vein,
he'll need about 30 darts at double if he gets to the final. If he's got
or
a chance
something
of winning
like that, yeah.
Of course, you've got to get 7 to win these semi-finals. First to 7 legs, first to 8 in the final. Longer format for the semis in the final this year on the Euro Tour. Whitlock hits his 11th 180 of the tournament.
46.
Shake, rattle and roll for Simon Whitlock.
Could stay there. Oh, Danny Noppert.
I was just about to say,
bounce
when
out.
will we see the first Danny Noppert bounce
78.
out? And it's taken us a leg and a bit.
Simon, you require 110.
And it's come at a very, very critical stage as well. It's in.
93.
Well, he
And
loves his
requires
roots,
68.
Simon Whitlock, roots that other people wouldn't take. You can see the thinking there. Double 17, it's the same area of the board as the 19s, doesn't have to readjust much. Was it the right decision to go for that, Simon?
Are you sure on the second leg?
I'm not so sure.
Alex Simon to throw first. Game on. .98.
It'll have a very different pace, this game, compared to Whitlock's game with James Richardson. Paul Nicholson, a
60.
co-commentator, noted that he thought Simon was playing about as fast as he'd seen him play. He just got swept along with James Richardson's rhythm. To be honest,
125.
in terms of the numbers, it was not his best performance, probably his worst performance of the weekend. So maybe a little bit more thinking time, a little bit more relaxed,
41.
less frenetic. It might play into Whitlock's hands. That is good. It's very good. Simon Whitlock does hit maximums in clusters, and he's at 2 in 2 legs now.
But Danny Noppert has produced a few this weekend as well, and there's another one for the album.
Simon required 98.
Whitlock straight up, though.
Yeah, the old Whitlock, 78 left, go
58.
treble 20 for double 9. Still don't understand that. Nobody does. But it matters not, because, look, I mean, Danny Noppert, there you go, those darts. In fact, Danny Noppert is an interesting point, because the way his darts do that, those darts that go in the board
100.
and suddenly
Simon, you
fall
require
down,
40.
that is one of the main reasons why Whitlock has got these weird Allen key points, because he thinks a flat surface in his point will
20.
stop that happening.
And you require
But it didn't help him
120.
find the double top there.
No. And Danny Noppert, Shanghai on 20s. Whitlock will be back.
56. Simon, you require 20.
Yeah, so already we've seen two routes for Whitlock that raise eyebrows that not everybody would go down, but
Select Danny to
he is
throw
2 on it.
first. Game on.
It was the 110 where he went for the 19s to lead double 17, and then he was left with 78, but he stuck to his guns, didn't move to the 18s.
192. 59.
Good start to this leg for Noppert, a ton 80 and a ton 40, but Simon Whitlock still there, still involved.
Yeah, and 3 maximums in 3 legs from Whitlock. Once he finds his range, he can go through these spells. And if he can make this spell last, he can just ride that
43.
wave for as long as possible. He could bury Danny Noppert and his hopes of making a Euro Tour final.
92. Danny require 138.
138 for Noppy. Whitlock is on the 170.
Yeah, he enjoyed that final dart as well. It gives him a chance. .64 away.
90. So you require 170. .96. Danny, you require 48.
Double top to level things up.
38. Tommy requires 74.
to open up a two-leg gap. Big step to the left.
Huge. And he almost went right over the top of it from a left to right sided move anyway. 3-1, and another lesson for Danny Noppert as well about missed opportunities. He had a chance there, but he did not take it.
77.
Two missed darts there for a 2-2 scoreline. Instead, it's 3-1 in favour of the Wizard. Simon Whitlock playing in his 59th European Tour event. This, whatever happens, is his best ever performance in Riesa, surpassing the 2 quarter-finals he made in back-to-back years in 16 and 17. And just to put Danny Noppert's achievement in some context, this is only his 6th European Tour event, and yet it's his 2nd semi-final.
Yeah, and it perhaps lends us to think that Danny Noppert is a big stage player. He produces his best on the stages, because he has now hit 3 180s in 3 legs. And, you know, he's a world finalist in the BDO, won the Zyder Down. He had a great showing on his debut at the Grand Slam of Darts. He's now had 2 Euro Tour semi-finals, and all of this, where he's not made a semi-final on the Pro Tour this year. He has had a few runs, but nothing beyond the quarter-final stages. We've only seen
98.
3 times in nearly 50 games him average over 100 on the Pro Tour in the Players' Championship Series. And yet, we've seen him regularly threatening to do 100 average on the Euro Tour. 1, 2, 3. Treble 18 leaves the bull. Doesn't get it. And Whitlock's got a whole choice
55
of doubles he could be leaving after his first dart. Ooh, not that one.
Well, double 16. Wouldn't advise that route, but Whitlock gets the job done. And Whitlock is more than justifying his pre-match tag as the favourite for this one. But there will be this new wave of young Dutch talents on display on the big stage at the World Grand Prix.
134.
Well,
from the end of September.
Yeah, and Whitlock is doing something to Danny Noppert here that he has not had this weekend. He has put him under severe scoreboard pressure, where he finds himself having to drag himself back into a game.
100.
He won 6-0 against Thornton, won every leg. Watermaina, he won it 6-2. Mensur Suljevic, he was never more than a leg behind. And
46.
against Darren Webster, he actually went a long way into the lead against Darren Webster. It was only a fight back from 5-1 down from Darren Webster to force that last leg decider. So he's always been in a relatively comfortable position. Certainly nothing like this, where he's 3 legs behind. And that puts pressure on every single visit.
133.
And Whitlock is sharpening up as well. He had a 20-dart leg for the opener. That was a very nervy finding a feet exercise, I think. And then he's had a couple of 15-darters after that 17-darter to get his nose back in front. And you just feel now that Whitlock is just in a nice place right now. He's in a good place.
58.
Well, Danny Noppert, I said it before he played Darren Webster. If he goes and averages around the 90 mark, I don't think it'll be enough to win the tournament. Now, in the end, he did average around the 90 mark, and it was just enough to beat Darren Webster. But he's averaging about the 90 mark here, and it's not enough right now to beat Simon Whitlock. Eventually, your luck will run out.
Yeah.
You can win games on the Euro Tour with 90 averages.
And it's not as if, I mean, he's had 7 darts at doubles as well, so that's dragged it down. Sometimes you might say, well, he's not had a dart at a double, but yeah, it's been dragged down as well to an extent by the fact that he's not really been proficient on his finishing, but neither has Whitlock there.
And you require 8.
Well, that could have been a real nail in the coffin of Danny Noppert. The gap is cut to just the 2 legs.
Game on.
Yeah, I think from 5-1 it would have been very hard to see Noppert coming back.
97.
91 average for Whitlock. Again, it's nowhere near his top-level performance this weekend. That performance against Steve Beaton, which was Really good. This afternoon, we just saw performance after performance of averages either
96.
around about the ton or more than a ton. Plenty of 96s and 97s and some real quality stuff. It is perhaps, understandably,
100.
got a little bit edgy from some players as they've seen all these big names go out, and it suddenly dawned on them, hang on, this could be my first title, my first Euro Tour title, my first Euro Tour title of this year.
66.
And it has got nervy, and it's affected the standard at times. Gerwyn Price certainly didn't let it affect him. He's produced a great display in the quarterfinals.
134.
Whitlock again leaves the 170. The 170 which he leaves so often, but to be honest, doesn't take out as regularly as he used to.
Yeah, from the moment Gerwyn Price got that big check
97,
out on the fifth leg for that break of throw, he never really looked back, and it was a defining moment in the match, but he really built on it very well indeed.
Very nicely done.
134.
Simon Whitlock will come back. Looking at double 18, race to 7, remember, it is not a race to 6. It does not push Danny Noppert to the brink of defeat just yet if this double 18 is hit.
58.
You'd think the bonus about Whitlock looking at the double 18, if he misses inside, it leaves the double 9, which he actively tries to leave sometimes. But 18 is hit, so we don't have to worry about the tricky switch, as we call it. 5-2 to the Australian number 1. And there's that little smirk from Whitlock, suggesting that he believes he has this game in the palm of his hand.
Yes, and
93.
Simon Whitlock, a man who, if he does get to the final, will be keen to wipe out the memories of that 8-3 defeat at the hands of Mensur Suljovic in Copenhagen
100.
in June. He never really got going in that final, and he'll be desperate to put things right against either Steve West or Gerwyn Price, but he still needs to find 2 more legs here. Danny Noppert may well just play with a bit of freedom now. He may just give this a free hit because he's got nothing to lose.
Well,
Just needs to find a bit of range and a bit of rhythm, just a bit more consistency as well. Sharpen up on his finishing would help either.
Danny Noppert is a winner. He's a winner in the BDO, and he's used to winning tournaments. He'll have come here this weekend, obviously hoping to win it. But I think priority 1 was to try and get to the quarterfinals and get himself a place at the World Grand Prix. That objective has been achieved. So this has been a massively successful weekend for Danny Noppert, irrespective of what happens in this game, or indeed for the rest of the evening. For Simon Whitlock, he'll be thinking, it's about time I got another title. It is 18 months since his last one, and that was a 5th in as many months. He went on a spree, collecting titles, bagging them like Pokemon. Just wanted them all.
Sonia require 121.
Bullseye first. Yeah, he did look at that.
93.
And he will come back. 28, the target.
And 6 years since his only other European Tour title, the Dutch Masters in 2012. Long overdue,
65.
some might say.
Simon, you require 28.
Looking at double 14 for a 6-2 lead. He wasn't looking at it for long either, because he found it with deadly accuracy right in the middle of the bed.
Throw first. Game on.
And he has got better over the last few legs. Simon Whitlock, he's just put in back-to-back 13 darters to drag that average up to 96. Much more like
59.
the sort of stuff we expect to see in the back end of these European Tour tournaments. We've seen some phenomenal darts played on the Euro Tour this year. A record average from Dave Chisnell, 118.66.
93.
The likes of Van Gerwen and Peter Wright regularly piling in the big ton plus ones. Ian White with 108. Steve West has done 111 this weekend. Joe
94.
Cullen regularly banging in the massive ones. But Whitlock is one of those players you expect to be going high 90s when he's playing well, and he is playing well now.
And he's orchestrating the crowd as well. He's clearly relaxed out there. He knows he's on the brink.
81.
And he's certainly giving them what they want to see. He has an abundance of support here tonight, and that's one of the reasons why it's another ton 80. It's his 5th of the match, and it brings up 15 for the tournament as a whole as well. Okay, he's on a bogey number, but I don't think he'll be too concerned about that, given where Noppert is right now.
95.
6 starts from 168 for Whitlock for a place in the final here in Riesa.
98.
Simon Whitlock has made 4 Euro Tour finals. He won his first one against Paul Nicholson. The 3 men to beat him: Mensur Suljovic, Peter Wright and Michael van Gerwen.
99. Simon,
If he can take out
70.
70 here, he'll be in a 5th Euro Tour final. And none of the guys who've beaten him are going to face him in that final.
62.
2 match darts missed.
133.
A stay of execution for Noppert? No, it won't be. So the Wizard will return.
93. Simon, you require
A 5th career Euro Tour final awaits. And that is exactly what he's got. The Wizard of Australia, a 7-2 winner against Danny Noppert. You'll be seeing more of Noppert at the World Grand Prix, the European Championship, but you'll be seeing more of the Wizard tonight.